Welcome back to another episode. I'm Magic Mike the Mechanic, and on today's episode we're going to be doing some basic maintenance on this 2012 Ford Escape XLT with the 2.5 liter engine that's sitting behind me. We're also going to take a look at this Depstech endoscope that was sent over to me. I'll give you my thoughts on it, what I think about it. We're also going to talk about the bin pack lift that I'll be using to do this maintenance. Now before we get started, we're going to head inside and do an unboxing of this Depstech endoscope. Tis the season for promotional giveaways, I guess, because today we're back with another unboxing and review, but this time it's not a scan tool. This time this is actually an endoscope. Definitely good for checking your tailpipe, making sure everything looks nice and healthy with your exhaust flaps, and today that's what we're gonna do. So we're gonna get this open, we're gonna take a look at it, we're gonna take it out into the shop and see how it performs. We've got this nice little Depstech carrying case. And as soon as we've got our carrying case open, we've got a few things right off the bat. We have our video cable right here. Oh, and it's a USB-C type connection on the end of this video cable. That's interesting, I haven't seen this style before. But very nice, seems like a semi-rigid cable construction. You can form it and it'll stay in that form. Very nice. We've got a USB Type-C charging cable. So in this little case, we've got a few different attachments. We've got like a hook attachment and a loop attachment, and one that comes with a magnet on the end of it. So if you're using the endoscope to pick anything up out of an oil pan or out of the bottom of a transmission pan, this could definitely come in handy. Now opening up the little flap over here, we've got our Depstech Industrial Endoscope DS530 user manual. And our actual endoscope screen. Interesting, it's almost like the size of a cell phone. That's exactly what it looks like, is like an Android cell phone that's just been repurposed for an endoscope. So very nice. USB-C on the bottom, a little SD card for storage. My guess is you could probably take photos with this and store them, maybe some videos. And your charging port, or the cable attachment up top. Power, brightness buttons on the side. Camera button. Very nice. So we'll get the camera installed and we'll get this charging and we'll fire it up once we've got a little bit of juice in it. Now while we're getting under here to drain the oil on this Ford Escape, one thing that I want to mention about this bin pack is this is where it really shines. These front engine, front wheel drive vehicles, I can access everything that I need to. I can even get as far back as to do things like O2 sensors. Now it is pretty tall, so certain vehicles like a 2020 Ford Fusion that I had on my channel not too long ago, that car actually sits too low to clear the lift. So something like that I still have to do on jack stands. So this Aston Martin clutch that we're going to be doing that on jack stands because I do need all of this clearance to get the torque tube down. But also working on that DeLorean, everything was in the rear. I had access to everything that I needed and it came in handy there as well. So this lift does do really well for the price and for a lot of the work that I do. There are still some jobs where a 2-post lift will definitely come in handy. But let's go ahead and get the oil drained and the oil filter replaced on this Ford Escape. All right, so with our oil drained and our drain plug tight and our new oil filter installed, we're gonna go ahead and remove this 10mm right here and get this plastic cover out of the way. That way we can get our transmission fluid drained. All right, now with our plastic shield out of the way, we can get to our transmission fluid drain plug. Now each time we'll drain about 4 or 5 quarts out of it. We will have to drive this 2 to 3 times to get all of the fluid flushed out of it. I'm only going to show this process once, but we will need to drive it a couple of times and repeat this process to get all the fluid fresh and new. So we'll go ahead and get this drain plug removed. We'll go ahead and tighten down this 11mm drain plug, make sure we're nice and snug, and we'll go ahead and get the vehicle back on the ground. We'll leave the plastic plate off of here for now because we will be doing this process a few times. While we're under the hood, we are going to go ahead and replace our air filter. Ooh, yeah. And I'd say that was about time as well. Let's go ahead and get this swapped out. We'll put a fresh, clean filter in. All right, and just like that, we've got a fresh air filter in. Now, before we go any further, we're gonna go ahead and get our oil and our transmission fluid refilled before we forget. And for our transmission fluid, we are using Marcon LV. We've got the rest of our fluids topped off. We've got a fresh air filter in there. Our oil and our transmission fluid levels are good. So we're gonna start it up and let it run for a little while, get it warm, and then we'll work on removing these spark plugs, and we'll take a look at the condition of each cylinder with our new endoscope. Next, we're gonna work on removing our 4 coils here so that way we can get access to our spark plugs. All right, let's take a look at this Depstech. Okay, camera quality isn't bad. It does come with like a 6-foot camera cable though. So something that I want to point out on our camera cable here is that we not only have one camera up on top where the light is currently shining, but if I press the back refresh button, you can see that we have now got one on the left side of the cable. And if I press it again, we have a third camera on the right side. So you've got a total of 3 cameras on the end of this cable, which is pretty nice to have. And being able to switch back and forth between the cameras here, I can do that just with this button on the bottom. So switching back and forth between the cameras here, I use this button on the left here. You can see that I can actually show 2 different camera angles at the same time, and you can swap between the cameras to show the different angles at the same time, which is very nice to have. And we go back to our top facing camera. So let's go ahead and dive down into the cylinder. Taking a look at our valves here. Nothing too crazy going on in these cylinders. A little bit of carbon buildup, but not bad for almost 90,000 miles. Same story on these other cylinders. We can see nice cross hatching all the way up and down these cylinder walls. Taking a look at these other cylinders and the valves. Everything looks to be in pretty good condition on this engine. So pretty decent quality on this Depstech endoscope. We can take photos using a button on the side, and we can even take videos if we would like to record. Press and hold the camera button on the side and we can be taking a video. All right, overall, this Depstech endoscope has actually proven to be pretty handy. Picture quality is nice. Having 3 different cameras on the end of this cable is a very nice thing to have. Each with their own lighting really makes this thing a nice deal. I'll have a link down below in the description if you want to pick up one of these, if it looks like it interests you. It's definitely going to get some use in my shop, so I want to say thank you to the people over at Depstech for sending it over. Now let's go ahead and work on installing the new spark plugs. The other thing the owner would like us to replace while we're in here is we're going to go ahead and replace these insulators that are on the bottom of these coils. Make sure you get the spring that comes out with it, and we'll get a new boot on here. We'll do spring first and slide our new boot on. Easy as that. All right, now that we've got everything done on this vehicle, we're gonna go ahead and close up the hood. We're gonna take it outside for our first test drive. We'll bring it back in, we'll change out that transmission fluid 1 or 2 more times till we get a nice red color to it, and then we'll go ahead and get it buttoned up. All right, so we're all wrapped up with the maintenance on this 2012 Ford Escape. We've got our plastic undershield put back on to cover up that transmission drain plug, and everything's nice and tight. All of our fluid levels are correct, and this one's ready to go back to the owner. So correcting my earlier statement, this vehicle has 210,000 miles on it. It's definitely been used as a work vehicle, sees a lot of dirt roads, so it's good to keep this thing on the road. We'll keep them going back and forth to work. We got a chance to take a look at the Depstech Endoscope. Looks like it's a pretty good product. Again, make sure you check the link down in the description. And I want to say Happy New Year to all of you. I want to say thank you very much for watching. I really do appreciate it, and I'll see you in the next one.